and welcome to another exciting edition of
Midwest Reviews.
Today. We're going to be doing another review of the 90s. This time we're going to be reviewing TV shows, our favorite TV shows of the 90s.
They may not necessarily be in any order, or they may have not even been the most popular, but some of them were. So to start us off, we're going to talk about X-Men, the animated series. And to be honest, it got a little crazy sometimes, but they stuck true to the comics and the designs, the voicing, the characters. It all worked out well enough that it is one of the most iconic cartoons of the 90s. So,
I agree with that 100%. I like it too. Spider-Man, the animated series, my personal favorite of the 90s, of the cartoon series. I was a huge fan of the character Spider-Man, so I liked the overall storyline that they went with Spider-Man and the voices that they had to do it. Great. And the characters I liked a lot.
They covered many of the comic book arcs from the 60s up until the then 90s. Batman, the animated series. This is my personal favorite because this is a show I grew up with. Kevin Conroy, iconic voice of Batman. Mark Hamill, aka Luke Skywalker, was the voice of the Joker. Again, the story and animation style were excellent. Batman had a lot of detail. It was drawn on black paper, and they lost something whenever they changed the animation style. But the first 3 seasons of it, excellent stuff.
Batman Beyond. Batman Beyond was pretty cool because it took a different light in the Batman saga.
Yeah, it basically set it 50 years in the future from the 90s. So.
Yeah. Which was kind of nice, and the fact that they even went so far as to handing it over to a younger, right?
Yeah, well, basically old Bruce was there, and he was guiding the younger Batman, Terry McGinnis, and really what the deal was, they took the idea of Batman, the original Batman's rogue galleries, and they updated it. But it wasn't like a Two-Face of the future. It was, like Clayface was Batman's enemy. Well, in the future, Batman Beyond fought a character called Ink. So that sort of similarity, but yet it was still unique to its own beat. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Will Smith.
He's a legend today. That's where he got his start. All his supporting cast, like the late
James Avery.
It covered a lot of topics that at the time were kind of touchy and really had never been done before in TV. And it's really good that they were able to break through a lot of barriers in that show.
I agree with that 100%, man. Full House, starring Bob Saget and John Stamos. So I like the series for the fact that it featured a single dad trying to raise three girls, and with the help of his brother-in-law and his friend. And the same with Fresh Prince, it touched on subjects that that were just for that time period, and it was a really powerful, motivating show.
Lois and Clark, The New Adventures. Dean Cain, the man who wore the blue and red tights. It's campy to look back on it now, but in the 90s, you were like, oh my goodness, this is a live-action Superman show. You were like, this is kind of cool. It is campy today, but you know what? Back then it was cool.
Who played Lois again? Can you remember?
Terry Hatcher.
Terry Hatcher, that's right. Yep.
And one of the iconic things about Lois and Clark: The New Adventures was Superman was the one with his hair slicked back, but he was wearing the outfit, which made it okay and cool. And they made Clark Kent really cool because he had his hair all spiked and not gelled back like a nerd.
Star Trek Voyager Plus Deep Space Nine.
Now I don't know which one's your favorite.
I like Voyager. That's the one I really like the best. I thought she made an excellent captain. I loved it. And who was the doctor on there?
Robert Picardo.
Yeah, excellent actor to play the doctor. I mean, I love the storyline that they went with that one. I mean, I guess it picked up right after Next Generation, didn't it?
Because they always had 2 shows running. So Next Generation, as it was ending, Deep Space Nine began. About halfway through Deep Space Nine's run, Voyager began.
Okay, yeah.
So anyway, it was just.
So what was your favorite?
Voyager, hands down.
Yeah.
Janeway and her crew.
Yeah. you know, nothing against Deep Space Nine. It was a really good. It was a very well done Star Trek, but
it got a little more crazy towards the end. You know, we were just like, no, we ain't gonna touch that. Boy Meets World. Gosh, this show ran for what? It was 10 seasons, or was
it ran for 10 seasons. I think it ran all the way into the really early 2000s. And
showed Ben Savage going from a little kid to a college level kid or guy.
Oh yeah, Danielle Fishel played Topanga. Yeah, enough said there, right? And then of course,
well, now they have the sequel coming out.
Girl Meets World, Saved by the Bell. That had Mario Lopez in it and Dustin Diamond, which, you know, Dustin Diamond, nobody really likes him anymore, but I thought it was a very cool show. You know, I loved it. I grew up watching it. It was pretty crazy, you know, just about life in school and the many crazy adventures that they went together. And I think the show even ran on into the college years.
Home Improvement with Tim Allen.
And Richard Karn.
I don't think so, Tim.
Yes, I don't think so, Tim. I love that.
Richard Karn, perfect foil for Tim Allen's character on the show. They would do little weird animations for whenever they would change scenes sometimes. It's a good show. Tim Allen as best, probably.
Yeah, and his if you've been watching his new show, Last Man Standing, they've actually made a couple of references and puns to Tool Time or Home Improvement, I should say. Because in one of the episodes, of course, Jonathan Taylor Thomas made a guest star appearance, and that was pretty cool. And then he also, Richard Karn made an appearance. And what's funny about Richard Karn was he goes, "So how are the boys?" And he goes, "Actually, it's 3 girls." He goes, "Man, I could have sworn it was 3 boys." That's you know, our favorite shows in the 90s, you know.
And you know, if you notice, we transferred from animation back and forth between that and live action stuff. So. If you haven't check out our other video about the 90s flicks. And anyway, so this has been Midwest Reviews, and we will see you next time.
See you.
I hate sunbirds. They had, like, whenever they transitioned scenes, they would do like weird little animations and stuff, and bugs everywhere. Cloud cover at last. Nice on the sunburn.